Today is August 12th, 2023. As always, we'll start with our disclaimer. We'll go over our calls and make some predictions, but I want to take a fresh look at the longer-term picture. It's been a while since we've done that, and we tend to do that on the weekends. Well, this is my call for Monday, which is August 14th, 2023. Just because it's my call doesn't make it right. I can be dead wrong. So any trade you make should be made at your own risk. We're going to go over our calls, but I would like to take a look at the longer-term picture. We're in a clear uptrend. We've had a pullback, but it certainly hasn't killed the uptrend. This looks like just a normal correction. We're thinking the correction has a good chance of ending around the low 4400s, which is where this Andrews pitchfork has support. After that, I want the rally to continue and take us to new all-time highs. Well, if I'm right about that, and of course there's no guarantee I am, it would leave us with quite a few unsatisfied MEJT targets at lower prices. So what I'd like to do is to come up with some kind of trading plan where we could have that rally and then a pullback and not kill the longer term idea. Well, here's my longer term count. This is a broadening top formation. It has a bad reputation as being a top. It's not my experience. My experience is this is a triangle, just like any other triangle. And being a triangle, it tends to occur not in the last wave, but the next to the last wave. So by that interpretation, we're in the last wave. And the only question is, how high can it go? Well, if you set the middle range of this triangle at between 61.8 and 38.2%, you come up with a high around 5,087. And that's a reasonable target. And another way to get the same number is to set this at the 38.2, and you'll see the 100 will be at 652, which is within 14 handles of the price low of 666. And then you can just invert the whole thing, and you'll come up with, again, about 5,087. Now, what's interesting is if we do top at 5,087, and we have this low at 3491, you can take the height of wave green C, compare it to the height of green A, which we have ending at 741.43. And you can see if that works, that the height of green A will be exactly twice the height of green C. So the waves balance out around 5,087. This would be A of green C, B of green C, and then we'd have C of green C going back under 4,000, hitting all our targets. And just because it makes a pretty picture, it doesn't make it right. But it certainly would explain how we could have a rally, have a pullback, and not change the longer-term view. So we'll just keep in the back of our mind, we don't have to risk money on it this time. Okay, back to recent action. We had this as a pattern with the early low, which is this, and Monday should have the early high. This is a valid break. It needs confirmation by trading 1 cent under Friday's close. I think that's very likely because we have a lower target of 44.5728. And if we don't gap up smartly, that's my call. We also had this drop, rallied all day, and at the close couldn't hold on to any of these highs. Now, time doesn't run out till Monday's open. We could open up here and take care of that. When you rally all day and can't hold on to the highs, that's negative. Now, you could also argue we couldn't hold on to the lows. I'm not buying that because with 3 minutes left to trade, we were at this blue line and we were under all these lows. So you broke under the lows, held it to the last 3 minutes, and I don't really care what happens in the last 3 minutes. That's not serious money. Now we became pretty close to an ultimate buy signal Friday morning. If you read the book, my book, you'd say that's a real ultimate buy. I wouldn't argue with you. But I use terms in the book like strong and weak and near. And I used to have a computer program and I couldn't use those terms. I had to use specific numbers. And using the specific numbers, which I just picked arbitrarily, we just missed having an ultimate buy. But it acted like an ultimate buy. We got what we had to get and then a little more. We had an optional target to undercut this low and find support under it. That happened. System said this rally was false, wouldn't stick. Said this drop was false, wouldn't stick. Now says this rally's false, wouldn't stick, and that gives us the target. If we do trade lower, you're coming into strong support. We have a previous TDST line, a 50-day moving average. We have a lower Bollinger Band, and we have what would be bar 9 of setup of a DeMark signal. So if we do get the drop, I anticipate on Monday, that could at least be a very short-term low, even though I would like to see us trade low. Of course, if we trade in the low 4400s Monday, that would satisfy my target. I'm not so certain we're going to get that low, but you never know. So, Monday's pattern has the early high. Doesn't mean you won't gap down. Typically, it's a bearish day with a low in the final hour. If it's strong instead, more strength should follow in subsequent days. There's a lower MEJT target. Unless we gap up smartly, the rules say it prints. We made a valid breakthrough support and the day-long rally couldn't clear intraday highs. We need to trade under Friday's close for confirmation, but if we do, we should trade lower. Doesn't guarantee a lower close. Monday may be a change in trend day, but a lower close would be far more likely than not. I think failure of the call is quite unlikely, but if we do get up smartly, it could fail big. This really isn't an ascending triangle in Elliott wave terms. But when you have an ascending triangle shape at a low, and you gap up right through it, that tends to go up in a straight line. I do not think that's going to happen. But if it does happen, I wouldn't wait around for it to pull back, because you could go up to a straight line to new highs. We're just going to mention it and then drop it. I think we're going lower. Here's my target. Good chance we trade lower than that, but also a reasonable chance we hit a trading low on Monday and the pattern with the early high. And that's today's call.